and welcome back to This Week in New Genre Books. My name is Amelia, and from Locus Magazine, we're going to tell you all about the new science fiction, fantasy, horror, and related books being published the week of February 11th, 2025. First up, science fiction, we have 3 new titles coming out this week. From John Harrison, we have Residue, Paramentals Rising, out from Wordfire Press in hardcover, paperback, and ebook. This is a paranormal dystopian novel. A woman searches for her missing sister in a post-disaster quarantine zone where paramentals, beings made of negative psychic energy, lurk. From Michael Nyack, we have Symbiote, out from Angry Robot UK in paperback and ebook. This is a science fiction novel for fans of John Carpenter's The Thing. While World War III rages, international scientists in Antarctica are spared the carnage until a group of Chinese scientists show up at the American base with a corpse. Was it a murder? Or something worse and contagious? From Brian Pinkerton, we have The Perfect Stranger, out from Flame Tree Press UK in hardcover, paperback, and ebook. This is a science fiction novel. Linda works at an energy company where she's baffled by the meteoric rise of Allison, a seemingly flawless young superstar. As Linda investigates her too-perfect young colleague, she's suddenly the target of mysterious cyber attacks. Locus, by the way, is made of people, and people are human. We do our best to get everything right the first time, and we do our best to run corrections when we don't get it right the first time. And boy, there's a lot of opportunities to get stuff wrong. If you're getting something out of all of our hard work, please mush some buttons to show us you see us. We appreciate you. Next up, horror, we have 1 title. From Stephen Mark Rainey, we have The House at Blacktooth Pond, out from Crossroad Press in paperback and ebook. This is a horror novel about a remote town in Virginia. Sheriff Bryce Parrott lives in the cold case capital of the world. He comes to suspect that a mutilated body is the work of something supernatural. Meanwhile, psychology professor Martin Pritchett is drawn to a house again and again, but can't remember what happens there. Next up, fantasy, we have 10 titles. From Karen Loichi, we have The Desert Talon, out from Solaris UK in paperback, ebook, and audiobook. This is a fantasy novella second in the Crowns of Ishia trilogy. In a desert world, the dragon rider Janan is freed from prison, but hardly gets a chance to enjoy peace when a local baron comes set on his land and dragon. From Hache Puello, we have But Not Too Bold, out from Tor.com in hardcover and ebook. This is a gothic novella mixing horror and monster romance. Dahlia steps into the role of servant to a humanoid arachnid creature. A humanoid arachnid creature? Yes, you heard me right. Her predecessor was eaten after doing something wrong. Dahlia has to figure out what the infraction was so she can avoid it and survive. From Calcade, we have Sanctum of the Soul, out from Tor in hardcover, ebook, and audiobook. This is a fantasy novel, the third in the Shroud of Prophecy trilogy. A group of stragglers holds back the war against the gods. After the death of the Chosen One, Oslo takes on the role. From Ibizu Boy, we have Skin, out from HarperCollins in hardcover, paperback, ebook, and audiobook. This is a YA fantasy novel about folklore and family. 15-year-old Marisol is a Sukayant's daughter, meaning she sometimes shapeshifts into a flaming ball of energy. Just imagine a situation in your life where you'd like to shift into a flaming ball of energy. I think we might spend most of our time keeping that fire under control. Struggling to adjust to life in Brooklyn, she discovers a connection with Genevieve, a professor's daughter. From Elizabeth Becker, we have The Moonlight Healers, out from Graydon House in hardcover, ebook, and audio. Lewis Winston belongs to a family whose women possess magical healing powers, which they use by moonlight. She moves to her grandmother's orchard, where she discovers a diary with their secret history and has to contend with healing her male best friend, who has feelings for her. From Ellie Blake, we have The Forest King's Daughter, out from Little Brown in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a young adult fantasy novel, first in the Thirstwood series. In a forest with red-leafed trees, a young boy gives a ring to a girl from a different kingdom. Soon after, their parents declare war, and the ring becomes a crucial weapon. Years later, they are drawn together again as he tries to undo his mistake. From Heather Fawcett, we have Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales, out from Del Rey in hardcover, paperback, ebook, and audiobook. This is a fantasy novel third in the Emily Wilde series. Emily returns to the Fae realm with her magical fiancé Wendell, who has a claim to the kingdom. But how can an unassuming scholar such as herself pass for a queen? I don't know, I've met some pretty amazing scholars. I bet she's up for it. From Joe Riccioni, we have The Rising, out from Angry Robot UK in paperback, ebook, and audiobook. This is a romantic fantasy novel second in the Branded Season series. Orphaned twin sisters in a desert world arrive in the city of Reese, where there are rumors of a healer who can help the branded class. Always a good quality in a healer, someone willing to serve the people that get excluded. From A.G. Slatter, we have The Crimson Road, out from Titan Books UK in paperback, ebook, and audio. This is a gothic fantasy adventure novel. Violet is a trained killer, but even she is endangered when her father sends her to the Darklands, a territory of evil beings and vampire leech lords. From Harper L. Woods, we have What Lies Beyond the Veil, out from Bramble in paperback, ebook, and audiobook. This is a fantasy romance novel, first in the Of Flesh and Bone series. A girl and her whole kingdom are endangered when the veil, the barrier that keeps the Fae away, is ruptured. Uh-oh. The wild hunt breaks through and certain humans are marked for pursuit. This is a pen name for Adelaide Forest. Finally, in our collections and anthologies category, we have 4 new titles being published this week. That's what we do here. If you haven't already worked it out, we talk about all the new books that didn't exist before now. It's pretty neat how they just keep on coming. These authors and publishers work so hard to make real books out of ideas or something out of nothing, which is basically the definition of magic. From editors Jendia Gammon and Gareth L. Powell, we have Of Shadows, Stars, and Sabers, out from Stars and Sabers in hardcover, paperback, and ebook. This is an anthology of cross-genre stories, the publisher's first. Authors include Eugene Bacon, Laurel Hightower, T.L. Huchu, I. Jang, Jonathan Mayberry, and Adrian Tchaikovsky. The anthology was crowdfunded on Indiegogo. From editor Henry Hertz, we have Combat Monsters, Untold Tales of World War II, out from Blackstone Publishing in paperback, ebook, and audiobook. This is an anthology of 19 World War II-era historical stories and 2 poems by Jane Yolen that introduce fantastical creatures to history, with historical notes on each story. Introduction by Joshua Palmetier. Authors include Eugene Bacon, Tanya Huff, Jonathan Mayberry, and Harry Turtledove. From Eric Hofstadter, we have Stone Martyrs, out from Aqueduct Press in ebook. This is a collection of dark fantasy / folk horror prose poems. The Rollright Stones, once human, tell their stories. From Sam Rebeline, we have The Poorly Made and Other Things, out from Morrow in paperback, ebook, and audiobook. This is a collection of connected horror stories set in the town of Renfield. When a bloody atrocity takes place in an old farmhouse, the tainted wood is reclaimed for other artifacts, which affect the town residents. That wraps up this week. Thanks for sticking it out to the end with us. There's so much more happening in the science fiction fantasy horror publishing field. Come see us on the socials at Locus Mag or at Locus Magazine. We'll tell you everything you need to know about what's going on right now in science fiction, fantasy, and horror publishing. Locus is a 501c3 nonprofit. Thanks for spending your precious time with us. We'll see you next week with more new books.